Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I got this beautiful comment on my video asking for a little bit of advice as well in academics. So I decided that I wanted to do a video focused on that. So for the entirety of this video, you guys, I'm just gonna discuss academics. I know this is so different from like the content that I post, so I completely understand if you're like, girl, school is not for me, I don't care about school. Next week, you guys, I'll be back to a vlog. There's many videos on my channel that you guys can watch if you choose to. So let's get started. I'm going to read it. I'm also going to post it on the screen, but it says, "Hey Diana, first off, I love your videos and I love your vibes so much. I discovered you when searching up Cal State San Bernardino since I recently got accepted there. And I'm a bit nervous but excited because after seeing you do it, I believe I could too. I've been thinking about plans in the future too since I want to become a college professor. I was wondering if you could do a video on the master's program application. I'm an English major and soon plan on completing the master's after my BA. But I don't know what to expect and I'm freaking out. Can you share what it's all about and preferably the process and standing out? Thank you so much." Thank you so much for the compliments. I love that. I completely understand the feelings of feeling freaked out, feeling nervous. Those are feelings that you're gonna feel through and through until you get to that final step. I am a first generation Latina who is in the master's program for MFT. I'm going to become a marriage and family therapist. So I have no one in my family to guide me. No one. I don't have no tias, no tios, no cousins, no nothing that has ever experienced what I'm experiencing right now. So the reason I decided to do this video is because I know there's a lot of people like me who want higher education, but it's really freaking hard. It's really hard because you don't know where to start. You don't know how to stand out. But trust me, all these differences that we have always had, like as people of color, are things that make us stand out immediately. I hope that this answers any questions that you may have. I hope that this just really helps you out in any way possible. First things first, you guys, I graduated in May of 2022 from Cal State San Bernardino with a BA in psychology. I did graduate with honors, so I did have a little bit of a higher GPA. So I'm parked in the street, so if you guys see me looking around, it's because like I'm always very aware of my surroundings. You guys know how it is around here. I'm just going to name off a few of the things that I had to turn in for my graduate application to keep in mind when you start applying for yours. You will need at least 2 letters of recommendation, 1 resume, official transcripts, and then you would need a personal statement, and I think that's it. Oh, and then you could turn in any other like sort of documents that you choose to. You can turn in as many things as you would like. To begin, I actually looked up questions, you guys, that people have when looking for graduate programs. So it says, how much and what kind of undergraduate education experience do I need? They always say experience is really good. So if you're like already in that point where you're like, I already have experience, like I'm fine, like honestly, you guys, really good. However, if you don't have experience, if you've never worked in your field, don't sweat it. Honestly, do not sweat it, you guys, because I had 0 experience, like no experience at all. Actually, I hadn't even worked a job. I hadn't even worked in the field. So do not let these things kind of deteriorate you from applying, because you just never know your luck. Like I said, I had no experience. Or whenever I was completing my personal statement, which you have to do, and your personal statement is I'll explain more in depth. The person who is reading your personal statement, they're meeting you through your paper before they're meeting you in person. My best advice for you guys is, if you have no field experience but you have a job, right, write about your everyday experiences in like school and your job. So for example, how have you solved conflict in school? Have you had conflict with a classmate? If so, how did you solve it? Did you talk to them directly? Did you talk to your professor because it wasn't going to be able to be addressed between you two? Basically, what you're trying to do in this part is you're trying to show them that you were able to problem solve. Like, that's it. You were just able to problem solve. For example, you have a job, right? And you and your coworker are very close proximity and you guys just don't like each other. You guys have an assigned duty and they just don't pull their weight. So how did you address that? How did you figure that out? How did you solve that? Because there has to be a solution, right? Problem solve. That is my best advice, you guys, for anybody who does not have any field experience. Write about your everyday experiences in school and in your job. Typically that's like where they want to hear about. Obviously you can have like problem solving in your family, but try to avoid that. I hope that was really helpful, you guys, because when I wrote this, I was like, what am I supposed to write for this? Am I supposed to leave it blank? Like, I don't know what to write. Somebody gave me that helpful advice, you guys, and I freaking ran with it, and I wrote about like personal experiences that had nothing to do with the field. The next question that I found is, are there specific graduate school GPA requirements? So I believe that for most programs it's like a 3.0. If you have higher than like a 3.3, 3.4, you're probably gonna get it looked at a little bit faster. Again, do not get discouraged by this. For example, my university is like, oh, we don't care about GPA. Like, of course it has to be a 3.0, but like, we don't really take that into consideration. As I was applying and as I was meeting people and I was just like, you know, going to info sessions, going to orientation, I learned that you could graduate with like a BA in kinesiology and then end up in an MFT program. So honestly, you guys, like I said, there should be nothing that discourages you from ever applying to anything, because the worst thing they can tell you is, sorry, not at the moment. Okay, then that's fine. You get yourself together, you work in your field, maybe you get more experience and you figure it out. Nothing should ever be impossible for you guys. Never, ever, 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 ever. Another question that was asked, are graduate school letters of recommendation required? Yes, they are, you guys. You need at least 2. You can add as many as you want, I'm sure, but you need at least 2. I got really lucky because my last year I really liked these 2 professors, and I kind of got close to them and I spoke to them, and they ended up writing letters for me, you guys. And so I did not receive the letter, so I told them to send it to the graduates admission office because that's how my school required it. So make sure that you are looking through your school's website and it tells you right there, because they'll tell you where do they want to receive letters of recommendations, transcripts, all these things, you guys. So make sure you guys are doing your homework and looking at the school's website, the specific like graduate program that you're in. I would recommend that you start building relationships with professors, even if it's just like superficial relationships, but as long as they know you, as long as they know your ethics, as long as they know, oh, like this student is a really good student, they're very applied, they don't make small mistakes, they're very cautious about how they turn in assignments, they're always turning in assignments on time, they're always getting really good grades. I would personally, this is just my opinion, I would personally stick to professors that make you write a lot. So for example, both of my professors that I requested my letters of recommendation from were professors that made us write a lot. So one of them was like a Spanish professor, but he made us write like I don't know how many papers, and that gives them an insight on your writing, who you are. And especially that class, we had to talk about our kind of struggles of being Latinos and stuff like that. So I would recommend you get professors that make you write a lot, because that is going to definitely help you so much. The next question that I saw was, do I need to write a graduate school personal statement, letter of intent, or other essays? Yes, you do. You will have to write a personal statement because, like I said, the personal statement is getting to know you before they met you. They're getting to know you through your writing. Make sure if there are instructions, you follow them. You don't try to excel. So for example, if it says write 4 pages double space, what will you do? You will write 4 pages double space. Do not write 5 pages, do not write 6 pages, do not write 7 pages, because they're not looking for, oh my gosh, she wrote 6 pages. They're looking for, did this person follow to the instructions that are detailed, simple? You know what I mean? They're not looking for like, oh my god, she's gonna be so studious, like she wrote 10 pages. No, I can assure you they're gonna stop reading at the 4 pages because they're not asking for 10 pages. So be very, very cautious on when you're writing your personal statement to follow instructions, you guys, because that is one thing that I was told by professors when I was starting to open up to them that I wanted to apply, was follow instructions. If it says 4 pages, keep it at 4 pages. Try to avoid doing 2 pages. Stick to 4 pages. Push it to 4 pages. You will have prompts to choose from, so make sure not to like over stress that out, but make sure that you apply on time. Make sure that you have enough time. Silly enough, you guys, me, right, I actually finished my personal statement the day before I had to turn it in, because I was very unsure. I was very unsure if I wanted to go to this program. I was very unsure if I wanted to make this big commitment, because it is a huge commitment. It is a huge financial commitment. And I was unsure. I was like, I don't know. And there was like this push in me that I was like, girl, you better do it. You better turn that shit in right now. And I finished it. But Grammarly was my best friend through it all, proofreading my stuff, and made sure that I didn't like have anything that sounded wordy or, you know, whatever. That's why I would suggest you have that Grammarly. It's like free. You can just download it. I would also give it to family members or friends that could possibly revise it. Another thing that you will need to turn in is a resume. Like I said, your resume, if you're like me, it was not even a page long. It was not even half a page. It wasn't even half a page long. It was short. It was a short resume. And basically all I had there was like my skills, like things that I learned from my university. So like critical thinking, researcher, things like that. That's like a few of my skills that I had there. And for the rest of my resume, I just had my university, when I graduated, any awards, all the courses that I kind of figured, so relevant coursework that I figured that could be helpful in my program. So things like that. Lastly, you will need to turn in official transcripts. So official transcripts are transcripts that are sent from university to university. So they're not sent to you and then you send them out. No, that's unofficial. So official is from university to university. However, you do have to pay. I don't remember how much, but you do have to pay. It's not a lot, I don't think. I sent them twice. So like I said, I graduated with my BA in psychology in May of 2022, and then I started school in August of 2022. So I had just my summer break, and then like I got back to it, and because of that I sent them twice. So I sent them I want to say like March. So I sent them March, and March is still mid semester, so I sent them again in June. So that's when my GPA was set. Everything was set and done. You won't hear back from the graduate program for maybe like a few months, maybe like July. I don't want to use the straw anymore because of the wrinkle lines that you'll get, but honestly these cups are not made for like to be dumped like this, because literally it had popped open, it had made a mess, it got all over the stuff. So like this is what I mean. Anyways, so that is like the application process. If there are any questions, just leave them in the comments and I could just like answer them really quick. But that, from my knowledge, is like the process, right? That's like from March until like June. That should all be done around that time, I think. This is from my experience. I go to a private university, so it may or may not be different if you're sticking to the public universities, which they may be more different, but the difference is probably slightly. So again, just double check with your university departments, please, because don't take my advice and I be like completely wrong for your university, because we're just in two different universities. So make sure you're double checking, make sure you're calling, make sure you're emailing. Be annoying, who cares, just be persistent. I did want to talk a little bit about the interview process. So I think I got an email around July, so it was like summer, because I remember it was really hot, and I got an email saying that they want to interview me. When you get that email, and that email means, hey, we want you in our program, we just want to know more about you, can you meet with us? Obviously they tell you in a professional way. That's like the core meaning behind an email. How did I get ready for my interview? You guys, if I could show you the notes that I had made. So when I applied for this university, I had read their entire curriculum, I had read their entire mission statement, I read everything. So when it came down to prepping for my interview, I made sure that I looked up different questions, so different questions that are typically asked in a graduate admission and a graduate program interview. A lot of the questions were, tell me about yourself, what do you like to do, what, like things like that, right? Like what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, right? However, my program, you guys, I just was so lucky. Like they've always been so kind, so nice, and just like they're just sweet. I don't know, they're just so sweet, you guys. And they literally didn't even ask me any of the questions that I was like so nervous about, so prepared for. But nonetheless, I think they're very important because I think it depends on who interviews you. I just got really lucky when I was prepping for my interview process. I related my personal experience, my life experience to their mission statement. So what does their mission statement say? Does it say, you know, we want to give back to the community by XYZ? Okay, so how can you give back to the community? How can you help the community? I kid you guys not, when I was doing my interview process, she asked me like how, I think the question was along the lines of like how can you give back to the community, right? So it was something like that. So I broke it down. I started off by saying I'm from the community, I'm a part of the community, I know what the community needs, I know the struggles within our community, I can address them. Obviously, like, these are like points. I didn't just tell her that, I literally went into depth about it. All I can tell you guys is that all the preparation I did, all the questions that I ever thought about really came in clutch. They were really helpful. I don't even know where half of the stuff that came out of my mouth came out of, because again, I don't know. It just did, you guys. To wrap up the interview process and like how to prepare for that, I would suggest you look up graduate program interview questions, something like that. And I would do that and I would see what comes up. You're gonna get a variety of questions, you're gonna get a variety of stuff. Answer them all. It doesn't matter if you're like, God, this is like 20 million questions, I don't even know if they're gonna ask me one. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Answer every single question as best as you can. Repeat them to yourself, read them over. The best thing you want to do is be prepared. The least thing you want to do is not be prepared. If you're that kind of person that just cannot think on the spot, I wouldn't recommend doing that. Be prepared for anything. Even if you get to the interview and they're like, well, Diana, we really loved your personal statement, can you tell us about that? If you don't remember what you wrote on your personal statement, how do you think that will look? You get what I mean? So it's covering all your bases. It's covering everything. If they're like, oh, then like, did you read our curriculum? Yeah, I did. And you didn't? Like, again, cover your bases, you guys. That is one of the main things that I can tell you guys, is cover your base. Like, cover all your bases. Another thing that I did, you guys, I would get my family involved. Hey, can you help me practice? Ask me this question and I'm gonna respond in the best way I can. It's probably gonna take a long time. It's a long process. All right, you guys, I hope that was helpful. I try to be as thorough and concise as possible so I didn't confuse you guys, but I still gave you all the best knowledge that I gained from like my experience. Again, this is my experience. If it does not resonate with you, or if you don't feel like you in any way felt it, that is 100% okay. I just wanted to be as much of a help as possible. I know what it is to not have any help during this process. It is very hard. It could be very overwhelming. Cry if you need to, let it out if you need to, talk to your family if you need to. For example, if you guys are going into the marriage and family therapist field and you yourself have a therapist, ask them, hey, do you think it's okay if I can ask you a few questions? Can I confide in you for some help? Like, things like that. They've already been through this. They can help you. And just ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. Like I said, the worst thing that anybody could tell you is no. And then with that, you just be like, okay, thank you. Anyways, enjoy the process because it's fun. It's fun and it comes quick. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.